Welcome to the Vernon Hills Update. The update offers information about a variety of village services. You'll meet a few of your neighbors and you'll find out about upcoming events. On today's show, we'll answer a few questions and remind everyone about the importance of participating in the 2020 census, which begins in March. We'll learn about the village's new taxi program designed to support residents ages 62 and older or residents ages 18 with a disability. We'll stop in a countryside fire for an important safety reminder to stay off the ponds and some other important safety tips. And we'll find out about the upcoming Cub Scout Pinewood Derby, which will be held Saturday, February 29th at Hawthorne Mall. Thank you for tuning into the Vernon Hills Update.
We are at Village Hall, and we're here to talk to you once again about the 2020 census coming up starting in March. So that's why we're here to remind you. We're with Jen Heverin. She's been involved with the Vernon Hills Complete Count Census Committee, which is it's kind of the group of everybody from town, the schools and everybody.
It takes everybody from Lake County, our surrounding areas, to help promote and encourage and engage in the Census 2020 so we get an accurate count.
Yeah, and let's tell people, if you've never paid attention to this before, a census is a counting of everybody.
It's a counting of everybody, anywhere from the age of 1 month up through 110. They want everybody in the count that is in the households. It's very important that they are considered part of the community, and it's more than just a interest count. It's a count to find out how the money is funded, anywhere from senior services to the schools. The schools are a big majority of it, to the infrastructure, to new neighborhoods, to senior services at the complexes where they're living. That it also helps our fire departments and staffing for our police departments and so on.
Yeah, exactly. So really only every 10 years, for the most part, we get a really good count. And like you said, there's money at stake here. Funds to support, programs for everybody, funds to make sure our schools have what they need, and also businesses use it too to see if they want to relocate here or do they have enough employees here. And so it's super important, and how we get represented in Springfield and Washington. So Absolutely. This every 10 years, it's crucial.
It is, and I think it's important that everybody realizes what it does bring to the community, especially like, for instance, with Vernon Hills. I mean, we got all these wonderful new neighborhoods. We got Melody Farms. We're getting new shopping areas. We're getting new businesses that are coming in, and that is all from the census. In addition, we have a CLC campus out here. Once again, that was from the census.
Mm-hmm. And when we talk about the census too, as you mentioned before we started taping this, it's actually a law that you participate. It's so important, and they've been doing it like since the 1700s. This is important. It's the law.
It is the law, and that is why they have a huge amount of workers out there that are starting in the middle of March and going through to April 1st, where is the census day. And if you don't respond, they will come to your door between May and June because they have to get those tallies in.
Yeah, and it's going to be easier for everybody to go online and do this than to wait for somebody to knock on your door and ask you the questions. That's why we're pushing too. Go online when it opens in March. And it's easy data. It's not to find out about each person personally. We're trying to just find out generalities. It stays, your personal data is private. And it's not anything like your social security number. Don't let somebody scam you for that.
No, your social security number isn't on there. Your in-depth personal information, any of your accounts, none of that is on there. They just want to know category. Mm-hmm. They want to know age. They want to know who you are. They want to know where you're at, and that's it. It's very simple.
And now everybody is supposed to get a postcard coming in March. However, like if you have just moved into an apartment over at Melody Farm or someplace, you're probably not going to get the postcard, but your count is super important to this community. So we want everybody to proactively go on to, 2020.gov or the Census Bureau. You can link a lot of ways, but when the time comes, just do the census. Don't wait for a card.
Absolutely. And if you go under vernonhills.org in the upper top left corner, there is an orange circle that has an explanation. It has it in all different languages to assist everybody. It also has the numbers that you can call. You can go to the local libraries and use their computers, but it's important to initiate it. If you do not get that card, if you do get that card, you go online. It's easy to do. Again, if you don't have a computer, go to the library, ask your local school, and make sure you do it. And if you don't, you will have reminders coming to your door to make sure you are doing it.
And that's a good job to have too. So if somebody wants a job with the census counters, that's something to look on the website for as well. And now we have had a couple questions come up. One of them is, for instance, if I'm counting my household and I sit down to do this and I'm splitting custody with my spouse, how do I count that child? Does my spouse count? Do I count? How do I know who counts?
Well, I think with the modern family that we have in this day and age, that is a good question. There's a lot of people that have 50-50 custody. In that type of situation, you can just say, where are they living on April 1st? However, if you have a different variation, wherever they are at the most, spend the night the most, that's where they should be counted.
Okay. And similarly, the government isn't looking to see who's related and who's living. They don't care about that. They don't care. Citizenship is not part of this. Nope. It's just what people are here that we can give services to. So if you're here on a work contract, if you have things like that, it's important that you're counted as well, because you're here and your children are going to go to school and you need the hospitals and you need the fire protection. So it doesn't matter if you're a citizen, it's where you are.
Absolutely. And with the different languages, and like you were saying, people that are contracted out here and working here and they're here with their families, the nice thing about the schools that they learn about that and they expand on their languages that they offer at the schools, and that's all done through the census.
Yeah. So and if you don't like what you see online, you can also, people can, when we get into March, they'll be able to download, or you can come and get a paper form. So if you're nervous about technology and you don't want to go to the library, if you're just technology averse, you can come get a paper one, and you can get that in multiple languages as well.
Yes, and then you can also find out too, when the census workers are coming around, they can easily come to you and help and assist you with that as well.
So the goal is, there's a lot of avenues. Everybody's working together to try to support this. Again, it's not to be punitive. Your information is to be safe. It's safeguarded. It's aggregated together. Nobody will be able to tell who's in what house. Nobody wants your bank account number. No. Nobody wants any of that. So don't be scammed for that. They just want general information.
Yes, they just want the general information to make the count, and then come December, they will submit that to Congress. So it's truly important that they get an accurate count. And again, they are not looking for any personalized information. They're just looking for category. They're looking for ages. They're looking for languages. They're just looking to build their communities and get the funding, because without the census, the funding will be very low.
So there's so much information available, either on the village website, the 2020.gov website. There's a lot of places you can look. You guys are here at the Village Hall ready to answer questions. I know the schools are ready, the libraries are ready. Everybody's here, so ask the questions if you need help, right?
Right, and I implore the schools and the libraries to go on the census.gov, because they have where you can do mock censuses, you can do coloring pages at the libraries, the park districts, the preschools, and then it engages the parents in what is going on and gets everybody reminded that this is coming to us.
Excellent. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you to you and the Complete Count Census Committee. Remember, be ready, watch for everything, be proactive, and we'll come back and talk about this again, because this is important. So we'll be back again next month. Thank you so much, Jen.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Well, here we are at Village Hall again at the front desk, and we're here because, you know, travel and transportation, especially in the winter, it can be kind of a dicey matter for all of us, but especially for our seniors, especially if you don't want to get out on the roads on this. We've got a new way that you can travel around in safety and in comfort, and it's a Vernon Hills Seniors program that has just come out in the last couple months. We're with Lisa Fishbeck to find out more, and this is a brand new, what is this called again?
It's the Vernon Hills Seniors Taxi and Disabled Persons Program.
Okay, so it's for anybody who's a Vernon Hills resident. What are the other parameters besides living in Vernon Hills?
You must be a Vernon Hills resident. If you are disabled, you must be 18 years old and provide us proof of disability. If you are 62 years old, all we need is proof of your birthday and proof of residency. We have an application here that you just fill out. You can mail it to me, and we will get you hooked up with a card.
Now, tell me about proof of residency. That means like a photocopy of a birth certificate or a bill or something?
Well, first off, you need a state ID or a copy of your birth certificate showing how old you are. You must verify that you are 62 years of age. As far as proof of residency, an electric bill, gas bill, magazine subscription that shows that you reside at that address.
So actually, pretty simple application, and no money is required because this is a free service from the village coming back for you. So tell us about the free service. We know how to get it now. What can they tap into here?
Well, basically, we've made arrangements with American Taxi and 303 Taxi to provide rides for our senior citizens. You can ride anywhere you want. You can ride whenever you want, and we will provide you a card, which you swipe like a credit card, and it will pay for $4 of your ride. We have done a survey, and we found that most rides within Vernon Hills are between $4 and $6. You'll get your first $4 off, and you would be responsible for the other $2.
And when we talk about swiping, though, what's different about this program as compared to the senior shuttle, you can go, if you need to take that ride to like Lake Forest Hospital or Skokie Hospital or somewhere else, you can do that because the taxis cover the whole area and you take your $4 off and pay the balance.
Correct. If you wanted to ride to O'Hare Airport. Now, you'll get $4 off on your trip to there, and then you can use the card on the way back. You basically get 16 trips per month at $4 a piece, and the card is loaded up at the beginning of the month with $64. It does not carry over, but we will reload your card at the end of the month or at the beginning of the month for another $64. And if you don't use your card after a period of 2 years, it will just expire.
Okay. But otherwise, it's an automatic thing. Once you've got your application in and you've got your swipe card, it just automatically will have it on there, and you just keep with that same credit card looking thing. Your same swipe card just keeps helping you month after month.
Yes.
Okay. And when we talk about what happens, so say that I want to go to a doctor's appointment at Condell. What do I do to get tapped into this?
Well, we've provided a handy little magnet. We use, like I said, we made arrangements with American Taxi and 303 Taxi Service. You would preferably call them the day before and make reservations for a taxi ride. They will come to your residence and pick you up and take you to your destination, regardless of where it's at. Once the taxi ride is over, you would have your cards, you scan your card through the little scanner in the back seat. Now, if it doesn't work, ask the driver to input the numbers into their pad in the front seat of the car and wait for it to process. If you have any troubles or anything, please call me with a taxi number, and we will talk with the taxi company to ensure that it doesn't happen again. You basically swipe your card for $4. If your ride is 6, 7, 8, 9, or whatever after that, then you would be responsible and continue swiping your credit card for the remainder of the balance. That's for your one-way destination. Now, if you're coming back from the same place and you have a taxi cab with American Taxi, you can do it again and get $4 off. If you're riding with two people who have the card, you can use the card 2 times for an $8 trip. So that does count.
So like if I was with you and we both happened to be over 62 and had a card apiece, is that saying you could swipe and I could swipe if we had an $8 ride and we'd be covered?
Yes, ma'am.
That's pretty slick. That's pretty slick. And well, and as we talk about this too, because this is quite a value, it's important to know that this card goes right with the individual. You can't loan it to somebody.
Right.
If you lose it, you got to tell Lisa right away because it's like money on there.
Right. Yes, we have they're all logged in per resident's name. And currently we have roughly 70 people signed up. And it's an active program. If you contact me at the phone number listed below, then I will send you an information package with an application, with this application, a flyer describing the program and how it works, and our little handy dandy refrigerator magnet. Once you fill out the application, mail it back to me with your proof of residency and proof of your date of birth, and then I will process that and mail you your card. You're more than welcome to swing by the Village Hall, and I can process it for you right there, and you'll have your card in 5 minutes.
And as you said, if you have questions or this program is fairly new, you said you had some glitches on a couple things, you call you and you'll help with that all the way through because the goal is to get this program working. And the reason we went to this too is we found out when you guys were doing research on how to help with transportation that a lot of other communities have started this and they've had tremendous luck. The flexibility, the capacity, you get where you need to go. You don't have to worry about the bus being full. And it's been great for other communities, so we're hoping the same thing here.
Right, and the nice thing that our residents like is that you can go anywhere, anytime, including weekends. We currently have a senior bus in operation that works that operates Monday through Friday from 8:30 until 2, and it is for medical appointments only for our senior residents. However, this bus is going to cease to operate on May 1st. It will no longer be available for the residents, and the only option that they have through the village is this taxi program.
So it's a good idea to get signed up now and learn how it works. Lisa will walk you through those steps again. And as we talk about that too, so this is the Village program. There are some other programs available. We've got, some call-in rides. We've got some township programs. And I know the Village is always in talks with PACE and the bus service and everything to try to come up with something that helps everybody. So we've got good public. So those conversations are ongoing, and hopefully, in a month or two, we can be back and talking about that then.
Yes, we are working with other organizations. You've got PACE, you have the township offices, taxi services, the senior buses, both Libertyville and Vernon Township have buses, and there are buses that stop within the village of Vernon Hills. So there are a lot of options. Unfortunately, they're not cost effective for our seniors. So this program offers at least an opportunity that they can use.
Yeah, excellent. So thank you for the information. Thank you for reminding us that we're gonna keep coming back to this program to learn more. We'll talk to you, see how it's going, and any improvements we make for the general population as well. If you're 62 and over, or if you're over 18 with a disability, it's really something you should try. It's a free service to you from the Village of Vernon Hills, and it's a convenience that the people that have signed up so far are really liking. So thank you for taking the time, Lisa, and we look forward to coming back and talk to you again about this sometime. Thank you. We are at Countryside Fire with fireman Tony Rodkey. We're at beautiful Lake Firethorn, right? That's the name of this lake?
That's correct, Lake Firethorn.
Well, we're standing out here not because it was as warm as we thought it was going to be today. It's actually getting quite cold, but that's a good thing to talk about. We're talking about the variable weather, the temperatures going up and down, and what that means for our ice patches and our ponds here in town. It's not safe.
Yeah, we're recommending people stay off the ice with the fluctuations we've had in the weather, the freezing, the thawing. The ice is unsafe. Please stay off the ice.
So it doesn't matter. Even if we get a cold snap, stay off.
It's got to be cold for a long, long time consistently, and we're recommending please stay off the ice.
Well, and I've heard people say, well, if I see the ice, how far can my kid fall in? It's not a very deep pond in Vernon Hills, but...
Yeah, going through the ice would be very traumatic. If somebody goes through the ice, please, first of all, preach to help, shout out to tell them to kick and try and pull themselves up on the ice. You as somebody who's witnessing this, needs to stay put. If they can't respond, then maybe reach. Mm-hmm. We say preach, reach, throw, and row. But we know we don't typically have boats around. Preach to try and have them get out. Reach if you can. If you have something that you can reach out to, a long pole, a ladder, or throw. Maybe you have an extension cord available, or hopefully a rope. And lastly, it would be, okay, if we have a boat available, we can push it out to help get them in. But call 911. Get rescue coming. We have the equipment to help somebody get out of the ice. Please don't go in after somebody who's fallen through the ice.
Well, and the thing is, even if it's not deep, it's just hard to get out. I know you've done some training for the high school kids over there, and you say, kind of throw yourself and try to squirm across low, because it is just, you're way down. So it doesn't matter if it's 2 feet or more. It's tough.
Yeah, we can tell people to kick and pull and preach that, but that shock of that cold water is going to take the breath away, and it's really hard to regain.
Okay, so the bottom line is stay off the ice. It doesn't matter how cold, doesn't matter what season. Don't go out on the ice.
That's our recommendation.
And it's call 911.
Yeah, and when in doubt, call it out, 911. You see somebody go through, get somebody, call right away. Most people do have cell phones, so call right away, and that'll help matters.
And you guys are there in a blink. You guys are there in a blink. And one of the things you do in a blink is when it gets a little icy or it's a little treacherous, a lot of what you end up doing is out there helping with accidents and checking on folks. So I know you guys are big on people paying attention when they're driving and doing all those things.
Yeah, in the winter weather, we got to slow down with the slick roads, snowy roads, wet roads, salted roads as well. We got to slow down, pay attention. Let's not be driving intoxicated. Stop the texts, stop the wrecks.
Well, and on top of it, and that's a good one, we're going to have to remember that one. On top of it, we're really not supposed to be talking on the phone with our phone in our hand next to our ear. It's illegal.
Yeah, it's a distraction. Distracted driving is on the rise. In these winter conditions, we got to slow down, pay attention to what you're doing.
Well, and I know that's what you guys are out helping. You're sometimes these accidents get pretty bad, and that's what you're ready to go. You're ready to help, and once again, you call 911 and somebody will be there. But if we do our part to just slow it down and be careful. And now other things you always like people to do during the winter. I know you're always worried about space heaters and the like. Can you remind us once more about being careful on that?
Yeah, using our space heaters at home and their fireplaces can help keep the house warm. Make sure you keep all items, anything that might catch on fire, for instance, a wooden chair, a couch, even your boots and gloves, at least 3 feet away from those heat sources.
Well, and we've seen you do demonstrations in the past where stuff nowadays just burns faster and hotter.
Yeah, these synthetic materials definitely catch fire much easier.
So we got to be more careful. And one final thing, I know people are watching this in February. March is going to be coming up, and then that's a little something you always like us to be doing when the time changes.
Yeah, when we change our clocks, change the batteries in your smoke alarms. And time change is going to be March 8th.
Okay. And you also say it doesn't hurt to pull out those old smoke detectors and put in new ones.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't wait and check the date. If your smoke alarm's at least 10 years old, change that entire smoke alarm.
Gotcha. And if people want more information, there's a lot of information online. You're always around. Send an email, give a call. You're teaching our kids all the time in the schools, but you can teach the adults too. So we appreciate that.
You're very welcome. And if I can make one note, we received a grant of carbon monoxide alarms for the Illinois Fire Safety Alliance, and I like to let people know out there we have a few. If you're in need of a carbon monoxide alarm, you can call me at the fire station, and I can get that to your home.
And that's something, we should have one of those in our homes? Or?
We should have at least one on every level if you have natural gas coming into your house and or an attached garage. And I'll evaluate that, and we do have a limited supply of those that were donated.
All righty. Well, thank you. Thank you to you and the entire Countryside Fire crew for all they do, that you all do to keep us safe. And we always like to close with our, what do you do if you don't know what to do?
As I mentioned before, when in doubt, call it out, 911. If you're asking, should I call 911? The answer is yes.
All right. Thank you, Tony. Thanks to everybody at Countryside. Everybody be safe out there and stay off the ice. We're changing gears here, literally, because we're talking cars. We're talking Pinewood Derby cars. And some of us adults out here, you've maybe made one of these. We happen to be with a group of Cub Scouts and one Boy Scout who's very knowledgeable about this, to talk about the upcoming Pinewood Derby race that's going to go on at the mall at the end of February. It's going to be awesome. We happen to be with people from Pack 273 and Troop 273 to learn more about what's going on. So thank you for taking the time to do this today. I know it's your day off from school. So let's start by saying, who has done the Pinewood Derby before? Has anybody done this before? You've done it before? All of you have. Okay, you did too? And I think some dads and moms out who are here with us, they've done it before too. So tell me what happens with these cars, because these are really fancy. How do you know how to do this? How did you know how to make that? Do you plan ahead? Do you have tools at home? What in the heck? How do you know how to do that?
Well, we have some tools at our house, and we just kind of I pick like a design that I'd like, and then usually me and my dad go out and work on it and make it to our liking.
Yeah. Well, and I was telling a story before we started. We don't have tools at our house. And I remember when my son was in there, I didn't know what to do. But Mr. Fivet, he knows what to do. So I know sometimes you lend a hand, or other adults will lend a hand.
Absolutely. We do make sure the Scouts design their own cars and make as much of it as we can. But when it comes to power tools, usually the dad gets a chance to help out. We enjoy it too. It's a great time to spend with our Scouts, and make sure that they have a good experience on race day, because it doesn't, fall apart.
Yeah. Well, tell me about race day. Now, you said you've done this a few times. What happens on race day? Is it it's a big ramp? It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty big ramp. So normally the day before we will give our cars to them and they will make up names. As you see, this car has a number, so it went first for that round. In our rank, we do different races for them. They put them into different groups, and who wins it, it's kind of like a tournament where the winner goes on and then they pick a winner for that rank.
So it's kind of like a baseball tournament or anything. You keep moving on. Are there prizes? Are there trophies? Are there things like that?
I think there's a trophy at the end. I haven't won, so I don't know.
Well, it seems like, though, everybody had fun whether they win or not. Now, I see you make cars every year, and I see a theme. What is your kind of car? What do you make? Can you tell me? Is it trains? Trains. He's a train guy. So you can use a lot of creativity. And I know you forgot your actual car at home, but you're showing something. You've got all different. You've got the guy. Is that supposed to be the head?
Do you remember when our den last year, the boys designed what the car was going to look like. He cut it, and then they actually all signed it, and we raced it as a den. So this might not look the prettiest, but all of our boys, their names are on there, and then they race.
Yeah.
So there's even your name. So that's total teamwork there. And how about you? Now, can you tell me about your car? Because it looks like it's got a little special secret there.
So my car, I decided to cut it in half so it can kind of
do that.
So you must have some tools at home if you can figure out how to cut that in half.
No, that was it.
And you wanted him to do that, correct? So it's always.
Checked twice.
And you have yours designed, and now you're holding some back there for us.
Yeah, so I never go for speed. I always go for style. So I always look to see what are some easy ones. So I did an ice cream sandwich with bite marks, not real bite marks, but he's good at the carving. And then I did a rainbow with some cloud at the end.
So there, it's it's for speed and it's for creativity. Has anybody figured out? Is there a trick to it? Like, is there tricks? Are there tricks? Like I see weights and things like that.
So all the cars start out as this block of wood. You get a set of wheels and nails as axles, and your job is to put together a car that goes as quickly as possible down the track. Thanks to physics, there are some things that work. You'll find that when the weight is higher in the car, it's got more time to gain speed down the ramp. But you also want to make sure that the wheels are level and straight so that it doesn't hop around the track. And, after that, it's how creative do you want to be?
And there you go. So when we talk about this too, so you guys are going to have races for your group. And then the big race we're talking about, let's see, Saturday, February 29th from 10 to 2:30 at the mall. That's the Northeast Illinois Council. That's going to be a huge deal.
Right. No, so we're going to have our Pinewood Derby for our pack later this month. The first, second, and third place finishers in each of the den levels qualifies for that NEIC race at the mall. That's where every pack in the council could send their top few to that track. And historically, we've done well. We've had some folks that won both our pack race and that council race. And sometimes what is really interesting, we've had one family where both of their boys won and qualified. The older boy won at our pack, but the younger one came back and won at the council race. So everybody gets a chance to compete more than one. It's great.
There's a lot of bragging rights there. And it's a place where whether you're involved in scouting or you're wondering about scouting or you'd like to just see something really fun, you can just go and watch this big event.
Absolutely. We're going to be at Middle School North on Saturday, January 25th. If you want to come meet us and see the cars race, the council race at the mall, anybody come see. And then, of course, there'll be information on both the council website and our own website about other events if you're interested in finding out more about what we do as a pack or as a troop.
So tell me, can somebody tell me, I know before we started talking, since it's called crossing over because you're now with the BSA group, so you're with the older guys that do Eagle Scout projects and camping and everything. Can you think of something that you have found to be very interesting that you think if somebody was thinking about scouting, they might want to know the kind of thing you did?
Well, usually on campouts, you get to go with like all your friends, like in scouting, and you have like good times though, like because you have to cook your own meals, and it's really fun, and it's.
I like you say that cooking your own meal is fun. I'm sure that's really appreciated at home. And when we talk about cooking your own meals or having a tent or having a sleeping bag, that can be daunting. Like for instance, we're not a camping family at my house, but I understand that you would help somebody know how to do that if you wanted to get involved.
Absolutely. The Scout family is very supportive, and there's people always willing to lend equipment or help go shopping for equipment, but it is a very supportive environment. So these boys are actually planning on crossing over in spring, which is actually just 2 months from now. So hopefully they'll all be joining together for the troop.
Well, if somebody could outline just before we go, there are different ages that do different things. Can you explain like where you can come into scouting? Can you come in at any step?
You can come in at any age. We do start as early as kindergarten with a program specifically for the younger kids. He's a graduate of that. That's the Lions. And then you work through first, second, third, and fourth grade through Tiger, then Wolf, then Bear, then Weeblo. Once you get to that Weeblo rank in fourth grade, it becomes more like Boy Scouting. That's where you see the uniform change. And they do their last year as a Weeblo in fifth grade, and then once they're done with the program in March, they cross over to the troop and continue there. Cub Scouting is very, very parent involved as well as guided by the pack. So you have a lot of chances to figure it out. And it really sets you up for Boy Scouting when you get to do really what you want to do as opposed to what the pack is doing as a whole. But we'll take anybody, any age. Come on in.
Well, and I've had parents say it's one of the most fulfilling things as a parent because it's something they can do as a family. Yeah.
Look, I have my 2 boys and my husband and I, so yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't get out of
Have a
it.
choice. No, I'm just kidding. We love it. We do.
Well, and there's things to do now. We're talking about BSA scouting. There's Girl Scouts. BSA also does take girls now because that's a change. Girl Scouts is still available, and there's other organizations out there for parents and for kids and for the community. And I know one of the things that people like about scouting is it's a lot about the word integrity. Like you all take care of the land, you take care of each other, and you're very. It's a lot of things like that you people do. And if somebody wanted to get involved in scouting, what do you think? Do you have an invitation for them?
Of course, we welcome everybody, and it's a great activity. Because instead of just sitting on the couch, you actually get to do something.
Very good point. And it's a lot of different kind of things. And I understand as the older you get, even more activities come your way. I've heard people that they even go like sailboats in the Caribbean and all kind of things. So it's and it sounds to me like if somebody wanted to learn, Macagawon?
Right here. So as the Weeblos, we're able to go to a Kayla camp, which is a very fun experience. And for all the Weeblos, I think you should go because it is very fun. Even though it sounds long, you get to do a lot of stuff that you can't do on a normal campsite. You get to swim in a lake, kayak, and you meet a lot of friends too.
Well, and Macagawon was when they had a big storm, and the scouting community came together and have pretty much rebuilt that camp in one season.
They have. There was a tremendous thunderstorm that took down, like 60% of the pine in that. For those who don't know, Macagawon is up in the north woods of Wisconsin, probably about 4.5 hours from us here in Vernon Hills. Deep pine forests, natural lakes, all that stuff. Doesn't like wind very much. So not only did everybody get out safely when the storm hit, but due to the cooperation of logging companies, the council, and our friends, we've raised funds to repair most of the facilities, if not all, as well as replace the equipment that was lost so that this coming 2020 season, camp's going to go off without a hitch.
And like you said, you can canoe, you can kayak, you can go. Do they have those things where you climb up in trees and go across? They've got all kind of different things.
Leathercraft, there's a ropes course.
Oh yeah, there's a ropes course. There's a lot of different things you get exposed to there.
Yeah, pretty cool. It's pretty cool, and it's cool for everybody of all interests. And if somebody wants to find out more, I think one of the great things to do as you're watching this in February is you could come over to the mall and watch all the cars race and get to talk to the leaders and the volunteers and the parents and the kids, so you can tell people that this is a really great opportunity. So I thank you all for taking the time. Good luck, because I know as we're taping this, you're going to still have your race. Good luck to everybody. And either way, I hope to see you at the mall, because that'll be fun just to watch the whole thing. So thanks for taking the time. And remember, if you want to know more about scouting, just reach out. These are your neighbors and your friends, and you can learn a lot more. Thank you.
Well, that wraps up this edition of the Vernon Hills Update. If you have comments or suggestions, please contact Mike Stordo at 847-918-3560 or email mikes@vhills.org. Thank you for tuning in to the Vernon Hills Update.